While a special Supreme Council meeting of Malaysia's ruling party UMNO is underway to discuss preparations for the 15th general election. Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob announced the dissolution of Parliament earlier today, paving the way for polls this year. Elections must be held within 60 days. The Election Commission will announce the dates for Nomination Day and Election Day. All states have been asked to dissolve their assemblies concurrently. Mr. Ismail Sabri says this is to ensure the people are not burdened and to save costs. Opposition coalition Pakatan Harapan, however, has declared that the three states that it controls, Penang, Negeri Sembilan and Selangor, will not hold polls. DAP Secretary General Anthony Loke says they will instead focus on helping people brace for the flood season. And for the latest CNA's Afifah Arifin joins us from the Supreme Council meeting in Kuala Lumpur. Afifah, this meeting scheduled to discuss preparations for elections. What is on this agenda?
That's right. So UMNO Supreme Council members are here for a gathering tonight at the party's headquarters in Kuala Lumpur. The meeting was set to start at 8 p.m, but it seems that there are still a couple of Supreme Council members still on the way, and we are still waiting for their arrival. The meeting comes, of course, after the announcement that Parliament has been dissolved and the elections must be held within 60 days. Now, this particular meeting had been planned over the weekend, and the agenda is, of course, for the party to discuss its plans going into the general election. We know that UMNO has been pressuring Prime Minister Ismail Sabri to hold an election this year, despite the pushback from many other political parties. And it does seem that they have gotten that from the Prime Minister. UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi has said that he expressed gratitude that the mandate has been returned to the people. He also said that over the last couple of years, UMNO had been misunderstood due to defamations, but that it still did not turn its back on the people. He also said that the Barisan Nasional-led states will be dissolving their assemblies together with the federal elections. Now, as I said, the meeting is still supposed to start at 8 p.m. It probably will start a little bit later. But last week, we also saw that the division chiefs and the state chiefs of UMNO gathered here at the party's headquarters as well for its final meeting ahead of the general election. The candidate list has to be submitted by the state chiefs today to the party's top 5 leaders for them to decide who will represent Barisan Nasional.
Afifah, as you mentioned, pushback from most major political parties. They have been against holding this poll because of the monsoon flood season. How have they reacted to the Prime Minister's announcement of dissolving Parliament?
Well, UMNO isn't the only party holding a meeting tonight. Of course, all the other political parties are holding meetings at their respective headquarters all across Kuala Lumpur. Parties from the Pakatan Harapan coalition as well as the Perikatan Nasional coalition holding their own internal gatherings across Kuala Lumpur. We know that the opposition has been very vocal about, not holding elections this year due to concerns over the monsoon season as well as the state of the economy, which will really impact the people's lives. Opposition leader as well as Pakatan Harapan Chairman Anwar Ibrahim has warned Barisan Nasional that holding early polls will cause political instability and scare away foreign investors. The Democratic Action Party, or DAP Secretary General Anthony Loke, has said that the dissolution indicated that the Prime Minister has given in to the cluster within his own party. But nevertheless, of course, following the announcement this afternoon, all of the political parties have said that since elections are happening anyway, that they are preparing, they are mobilizing their grassroots to start campaigning as soon as possible. So it seems that it's all systems go here in Malaysia. We will definitely see more political developments in the coming days as we wait for the Election Commission to decide on the nomination and polling dates.
Thanks so much for those updates. Afifah Arifin live for us there from Kuala Lumpur. Of course, UMNO leads it is the most dominant party in the Barisan Nasional coalition. Now, that coalition dominated Malaysian politics for the decades following its formation in 1973. But it lost its hold on Parliament for the first time in 2018 after a stunning loss to Pakatan Harapan. The political upheaval continued with the new government unexpectedly ousted less than 2 years later. It was a dramatic series of behind-the-scenes maneuverings that included the crucial event known as the Sheraton move.
At a time when then Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad and his designated successor Anwar Ibrahim were disputing about when a promised handover of power would happen, coup makers saw it as an opportunity to strike. That happened on Sunday, 23rd February 2020. Bigwigs of parties within and out of the Pakatan Harapan coalition gathered at the Sheraton Hotel in Petaling Jaya, to much media fanfare. Rumours had been circulating for weeks about possible discussions of a backroom deal to form a new Malay-Muslim coalition. Key among them, Azmin Ali, the deputy to de facto opposition leader Mr. Anwar, and Muhyiddin Yassin, second to Dr. Mahathir. The number twos of the country's most prominent politicians were widely seen as orchestrators of the political coup. As the day progressed, it became clear that the governing Pakatan Harapan had lost its parliamentary majority through defections and the withdrawal of Bersatu, a key political partner. By the following afternoon, Dr. Mahathir resigned from his post, creating a power vacuum. At this point, no party or coalition had a majority, resulting in a stalemate. Malaysia's king then intervened. After meeting lawmakers to gauge whom they would support, he appointed Mr. Muhyiddin as the country's 8th Prime Minister. The events of the Sheraton move would lead to a period of political instability that the country had never experienced, amid the backdrop of a raging pandemic and an economic downturn. That would lead to another change in government 17 months later, with Mr. Muhyiddin's deputy Ismail Sabri Yaakob appointed the next Prime Minister, and a return to power of the Barisan Nasional. With two coalition governments in just over 2.5 years, it also eventually led to an anti-hopping law that was passed in August to safeguard political stability in the country. A law that could be crucial in providing surety, as politicians once again vie for power in this general election.